Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna hook the bush hog up to this Massey here, and I've never done that before. I just took the PTO cover off the Massey, and it hasn't been on since, or hasn't been off since I got the tractor. So 15 years or so, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while. So I'm gonna get the blade off, and we're gonna see if we can get the bush hog hooked up to it.
I think I go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5.
So, as I'm sure you can tell, this is a fairly old tractor. It's a 1965 Massey Ferguson. It was my great-grandfather's. He bought it new back in the day, and he gave it to us when he died. So technically it's a single owner tractor. I'm not 100% sure if you would call that one owner or two owner, but yeah, it's a little old and it's seen better days. It has. We haven't really done much to it, and as you can see down in here, everything's just kind of saturated with some oil and everything, which it's got an oil leak. I don't know exactly from where, but I'm assuming it's up at the top end somewhere in here. So it starts smoking pretty good. She smokes a little bit more than what I would like it to, especially if I'm going to be out in the field with it. So I decided, you know what, I brought it around. I brought the bush hog around with it, and I got the PTO fired up on it, and it worked all right. And I've never even had the PTO cover off of this tractor before, so that was nice to see the PTO actually spin up. But we're actually gonna hook it up to the John Deere over there instead. I know the John Deere works well with it. It's a hydrostatic drive tractor, which is a little less fun, but yeah, it'll do a better job. Unfortunately, modern tractors just are easier to operate. I'm not putting anything past the older generation tractors. They fed the world for a very long time. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I love the old tractor, but it's not as easy to use out in the field as a newer tractor would be. This is the PTO cover. As you can see, it's pretty old, just like everything else. Nice grease in there, but yeah, I'll put this back on and put the Massey back in its spot right there on the floor. You can probably see some cardboard that's pretty oil soaked where we park it. And yeah, I would love to be able to tear that down and give it a fresh paint job and rebuild it. I'm just not mechanically inclined enough to really get into that project right now. Plus we got a lot of other things going on, and that's the tractor we use to grade our driveway. So yeah, it works. We changed the oil in it. It's only got 280 hours on it, so it's not even broken in yet, but it's definitely seeing its age. So we'll get the John Deere hooked up here, and we'll get cutting down some dead grass. Just better see what we're working with, because if I want to put chickens on it, I want to get all that dead stuff down on the ground so new stuff can grow up and around it. That's my theory anyways. I don't know if it's going to work or not, because I'm new at this. If you know, please feel free to let me know down below in the comments. We got a peacock checking out the shop over there. Hello, Mr. Peacock. What you doing? Hey, is it mating season? You looking for a mate? Yeah. Is there any mates in here for you? Or did I scare them all out of the shop? I think I scared them all out of the shop. All right. Well, let's head her on out to the field and see what we can get accomplished today. It's around noon, so hottest part of the day. Kudos to me for good planning. And yeah, see what we get up to. See. You see how tall that tree was? You see how long this root is? Yeah. It's not good. It's an invasive species. Pretty sure it's buckthorn. The root is bigger than the tree, and that's what makes these things such a pain to get out of the ground. You could cut them off at the base, but like, I don't know, 60% of the plant's underground. Like, and these are just like vines. Like, that was mud. The ground's not super hard yet. That's why I kind of wanted to start pulling these out now. Yeah. I'm gonna have to cut the big one, the bit bigger ones down. Obviously I want to leave some shade trees, but like, this kind of stuff is just gonna rob a lot from my grass. So I'll cut this up with the chainsaw and put it on my fire pit later. So I just came back down with my chainsaw And I wanted to give you guys a little bit better of a look of what I'm actually doing here. So in the video, this was all like that. So if I spin the camera around here, this is what the ground is looking like. All of this, I did this all this morning as well off camera. However, all of that came out to this line here. You can see where I left a line. So I did all this last year in the fall, and you could see how some of the grass is starting to come back up, which is good. You like to see it. And I have to come back over again and like mulch most of this stuff, and then I'll put my disc through it. Obviously I'll try to just do what I can with the tractor and push trees over, like that one there, but that one just didn't want to go, so it's one of the trees that I'm going to be cutting down here now. I think I'm actually going to leave that one decent sized tree right up by the tractor. I'm going to probably take down this little guy right here. Probably this little guy, leave this tree right there. I'm going to want to cut down this clump because that's a mess. I think most of these are like raspberry bushes, stuff like that, which when the bear comes around, he'll be or she'll be wondering where my food went, but I don't really want to be feeding the bear. I kind of want to be able to have room to feed my chickens and the cows eventually, and maybe some sheep and some pigs. That's the house for reference. This is a path that we've had for a long time to go down towards our camp. So ideally I would like to get an electric fence right up along this path here, kind of right along that line, and have this whole section over to the bush electrified down the road. That would be my goal. Like, this is a decent size piece of land. We've got everything down over there too. There's a little clearing down there that we can make into another pasture. I'm okay with clearing out a lot of these trees if need be. Pulled a big stone out of that hole there last year. So I did mow most of this, some of it at least, as we came down. There was some lumber and stuff left over there, so I didn't really want to do too much. There was a bunch of odds and ends and stuff that I didn't really want to hit with the bush hog as soon as I got it. A year or two down the road, sure, whatever. But it being brand new at the time, I didn't really want to abuse it too much. So like this area isn't too bad. It's very up and down and rough. It's not very flat or smooth at all. Like, we got a big hole right here. So ideally, like this part right here, I wouldn't really need the bush hog. This is a part that I would like to till, another hole here, and then maybe get the cultivator out and see if I can flatten out some of these dips and valleys. Take down all these little buckthorn trees. This is what I mean about a buckthorn. If you've ever seen this tree, you know that they're a right pain. They are pretty invasive. As you can see, there's 5 of them, 6. They're all over the damn place. They just pop up like weeds, because that's pretty much what they are. They don't grow that tall. They don't really grow tall enough to provide shade, and they'll smother other things out. So it's not really something that I want around. So there's the barn there, and the house, garage. Path was down there. Bush lines over there. And the bush, there is a clearing in the bush as well. There's actually 2 clearings. They're not super big, they're starting to grow in, but we could definitely do something with the bush in the future as well. But for right now, this is kind of like my goal, is to get this area all cleaned up, take out all these juniper bushes, because 5-10 years ago these things were fairly small and low to the ground and you could almost drive right through them. But now, however, they're pretty overgrown and they don't look so good anymore. We did used to have a trail through here. I'm not sure if I'm actually walking on it or not. Kind of looks that way just from the indents in the ground right in front of me. Got some more water up here. So the drainage isn't that great, but isn't too many wet spots in the whole grand scheme of things, which is kind of nice. But it's also not very level at all. So like to leave that cedar tree, provide some shade, especially in the afternoon sun. We got a very strong sunset over in that direction. It's pretty well noon, sun's pretty high in the sky. We also have really bad east-west winds up here because like there's not much in that direction. And there's not much in the other direction either. Just the house, which doesn't really block much of the wind. So even when it's a calm day, it's normally pretty windy up here. So ideally I would like to have electric fencing at least along the actual bush line. Depending if we push the bush line back or not, that's not going to be a this year thing. But we definitely have a lot of dead standing trees in that bush that could definitely be cut and removed. Clear up some space in the forest. Part of me wants to say if we get pigs to put them in the bush, to start eating away at some of the smaller foliage. But pigs would probably do also pretty good out on this. Like if I just wanted to fence it all in and put pigs in, they'll root up a lot of these smaller trees, I think. Like these little small buckthorn pieces here. At least that's what I think from what I've been looking at on videos. I think if you know if pigs would eat a lot of this crap, let me know. I know they root away at it, but I don't really want to do too much damage because I want to turn all this into lush green pasture. I know it doesn't look like lush green pasture. It looks pretty brown and pretty dead, but we're also, what's today? April the 13th. It was also, today's the day that I uploaded the channel update video. Me sitting in my truck, trying a few different editing things, flipping the camera back and forth, you know, that kind of stuff. I've also realized that I can change the name on the YouTube channel, so that's good. I don't have to make a new one. So that's probably where you're watching this video. It's on the Toman G channel. Not sure if I changed the name of the channel yet at the time of you watching this, because I have no idea when you're actually watching this. I have no idea when I'll actually get around to editing and uploading it. But yeah. Today is April the 13th. My mother's birthday's coming up. Her birthday's on the 26th of April. Sorry, 23rd. Don't let her say it was the 26th. It's the 23rd. She would shoot me. Yeah. So, the girlfriend's at work today. She's picking us up some dinner and some ice cream when she comes home, and we're going to have a nice fire. So, that'll probably be a good way to end off today's video. So, yeah, we haven't decided on a farm name yet. We thought of a name, Amanda and I, girlfriend, of Longhurst 105-acre farmstead. It's a bit of a mouthful. Longhurst 105-acre farmstead. So you would normally just say Longhurst 105, right? My mom, Georgina, doesn't like the word acres in the name. And if you take away the acres, then you have no idea why it's 105. Because if you didn't know, we have 105.77 acres here. So that's where we got with the 105. I like the name Farmstead because I want this to be a farm. I want to be able to produce goods and products here that we can sell to our local community and feed local people, while also providing for myself and my family. To where a homestead, I feel like, is more self-centered, and there's nothing wrong with that. Being as sufficient as you can be, spending as little money as you can at the supermarket is definitely a good goal and definitely a good endeavor. And the name farm, once again, I've got nothing against farms. I love farms, I love farming. But when you think farm, you normally think of a large crop farm. And we're not large scale. Yeah, we got 105 acres, but ooh, maybe I could use that for something. But we're small. We gotta do different enterprises to make the money, and so that's why I kind of like Farmstead. So if you've got any name suggestions, please feel free to let me know down below in the comments, because I'm not 100% sold on Longhurst 105 acre farmstead. It is a bit of a mouthful. Ideally, I would like to incorporate Longhurst, which is my last name, my family name, into the farm somehow. But that's not the end all be all. So anyways, I think that's enough gabbing. Gavin's gabbing. Maybe that'll be the title of the video. I don't know. I think it's time to get back to work. I'm gonna cut down that tree. That one's already out of the ground. I think I'll leave that one. Cut down those small ones. Cut down the smaller ones beside that tree there. And if I'm feeling ambitious, I'll try to tackle that clump of trees. Might get the bush hog in there first and clear some working room. I used to do tree work for a living, if you can't tell. It's definitely been a couple years since I've ran a chainsaw more than just cutting some pieces of firewood. So try to work smart, not hard. Have myself a exit strategy in case something goes wrong. So yeah, I might set the tripod up. You might get some cutting wood action, or you might not. I don't know how I feel. So I'll see you in a bit. I'm not that lazy. I'll walk the last two. Got any stiff wood? I mean, if all else fails, hopefully I'll be able to say I lost weight this year.